Almost everything you touch in modern life has crossed water first. The fuel in your car, the food on supermarket shelves, the medicine in pharmacies, the electronics in your home, the steel inside buildings, the containers arriving at ports by the thousands every day. Globalization feels vast, digital, and invisible, but underneath it all, the system is still physical. It still moves through ships, ports, canals, and narrow passages at sea. And that is the problem. Because the global economy does not move through open, unlimited space. It moves through bottlenecks. A few narrow sea lanes carry an enormous share of the world's energy, manufactured goods, and raw materials. They are the hidden pressure points of global trade. Most of the time, they look quiet on a map. But when they come under pressure, the shock does not stay at sea. It spreads into supply chains, insurance markets, factory schedules, fuel prices, inflation, and eventually into ordinary households. This is the geography behind modern economic power. The world often talks about markets as if they operate in abstraction, as if prices rise and fall because of sentiment, policy, or numbers on a screen. But many major disruptions begin somewhere much more concrete. They begin in movement, in routes, in passage. More than 80% of world trade by volume is carried by sea, and key choke points such as the Suez and Panama Canals have become increasingly exposed to geopolitical tension, conflict, and climate pressure. That is why a disruption in one narrow maritime corridor can create consequences far beyond its own region. Consider what that means in practical terms. When a major sea route becomes uncertain, shipping slows down, insurance costs rise, tankers and container ships are rerouted, fuel consumption increases because voyages become longer, delivery times stretch, inventories tighten, freight rates move higher, importers begin paying more, exporters begin missing windows, manufacturers face delays in inputs, and then the pressure starts to move outward into the real economy. What begins as a maritime problem becomes an inflation problem. What begins as a naval risk becomes a household cost. One of the clearest examples is the Suez Canal. Suez is not just a waterway in Egypt. It is one of the shortest and most efficient links between Europe and Asia. It removes the need for ships to sail all the way around the Cape of Good Hope at the southern tip of Africa. That saved distance translates into saved time, lower fuel costs, tighter logistics, and faster turnover across the entire shipping system. And that efficiency matters because Suez is not marginal. According to UNCTAD, around 10% of global trade volume and 22% of global container traffic move through the canal. When that route is disrupted, the system does not simply pause, it stretches. That stretching is expensive. Over the past 2 years, shipping firms have repeatedly been forced to reconsider Red Sea and Suez transit because of security risks. In early March 2026, major carriers including Maersk, Hapag-Lloyd, and CMA CGM rerouted vessels around Africa instead of transiting through the Suez Canal and Bab el-Mandeb, while some companies suspended crossings through Hormuz and added war risk surcharges. Reuters also reported that roughly 100 container ships were stuck in the Gulf as regional violence disrupted fuel supply, port operations, and vessel movement. That is how fragile efficiency really is. A route does not have to be permanently closed to become dangerous. It only has to become uncertain. Once shipping companies, insurers, and crews begin acting defensively, the economic damage starts before any formal blockade is complete. And Suez is only one piece of the story. Farther east lies another maritime nerve, the Strait of Malacca. If Suez connects Europe and Asia efficiently, Malacca helps connect the energy and trade flows that sustain Asia itself. It links the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea and sits on one of the most important commercial pathways in the world. UNCTAD estimates that Malacca handled about 23.7% of global seaborne trade volume in 2023, including 45% of crude oil seaborne trade by commodity share at that choke point. The U.S. Energy Information Administration also describes it as the primary oil choke point in Asia and Oceania, with an estimated 23.2 million barrels per day moving through it in the first half of 2025, equal to 29% of total maritime oil flows. That means a serious disruption in Malacca would not remain a regional issue for long. It would affect energy flows into Asia, manufacturing schedules, shipping rates, and the price structure of goods far beyond the Indo-Pacific. A disruption there could ripple through China, Japan, South Korea, Southeast Asia, and then outwards into the broader global economy. Then there is Panama. Panama reveals something equally important. Modern trade is V-sized.